Loves his cars. Problem is, he hasn't held a licence for more than 30 years. So when he got behind the wheel, he thought he was done. It was his third time, and he couldn't believe what the judge dished out.
You bad car. Because I got caught in it.
Busted.
I wasn't a bad driver, I wasn't speeding.
Meet Michael Lawrence, a self-confessed revhead who loves his Holdens.
At my age, I should know better.
You see, this 62-year-old isn't licensed and hasn't been for 30 long years.
How many times have you driven, do you think, in the past 30 years?
3 times, 3 or 4 times. Yeah. I've been caught 3 times. Yeah.
So every time you've driven, you've been caught?
Yeah.
It's pretty unlucky.
It is unlucky.
Is that the truth?
Yeah.
Late last year, he was caught again in Melbourne before being hauled before a court where he pleaded guilty to driving while unlicensed.
You didn't have a lawyer, you represented yourself?
Represented myself, just went in.
As Michael will tell you, it was his lucky day.
I just thought, wow, $300, that's just like so small. She was lenient with me, but, and more lenient than what I expected. But yeah, I was happy with it.
A $300 fine, far cheaper than what it would have cost Michael to pay for a licence for 30 years.
But I was happy with how the court went yesterday, so I can't complain too much.
A slap on the wrist.
A slap on the wrist.
If you can call it that.
Yeah, exactly.
Michael was supposed to hit the brakes back in 1991 when his licence was torn up.
I lost it for failing to blow in the breathalyzer. I was drunk, I'd been drinking, should have been charged with drink driving, but because I was suffering from asthma, I couldn't blow. I just didn't have it in me to blow.
You have to give Michael credit for being so upfront with us and bearing all, just like he does online, caught with his pants down in more ways than one.
My car, Holden SS V6 supercharged.
That was in 2010.
You always regret the decisions. As soon as you get caught, you regret it. If you didn't get caught, you'd think you're lucky.
When Michael fronted this Dandenong court, he told a magistrate that he'd been in a bad car accident overseas and he was afraid to drive for a long time. He also claimed that he'd tried to get his licence back over the years, but he never followed through.
Now, I said to her that I'd tried to get back through COVID, but because of courts and things being cancelled and video court cases, that never happened. So she fined me $300.
He could have been fined thousands or even sent to jail.
It sends a completely wrong message to people that are choosing to do the wrong thing, that it can be seen that there's very little consequence for that bad behaviour, and there's obviously a knock-on effect to that to the broader community. Founder
of the Australian Road Safety Foundation, Russell White.
Well, there's all sorts of implications from an insurance standpoint, from an enforcement standpoint, if something was to happen.
Do you think a $300 fine is enough of a deterrent to other people not to do something like this?
No, I don't think so.
No, look, I do think there is an urgent need to review the penalties and fines, nationally right across the board for people that are choosing to do the wrong thing. Obviously, there's those sort of one-off instances where people might have inadvertently done the wrong thing, but what we're seeing here is definitely a choice and a chosen path to not comply with the rest of the road user community, the road using public.
For now, Michael says he either walks or rides his push bike, the same one covered in cobwebs.
Wow, I'm sorry that I did the wrong thing, and obviously not going to do it again. Definitely have learnt my lesson, finally. Some people it takes a little bit longer to learn the lessons.
Michael says he does want to get his licence back, but in the meantime it begs the question, will he tempt fate again?
I'd be scared that if I got into a car and drove down the road, there'd be a policeman sitting there waiting for me.
Not just police, Michael. We'll be there too.